Yeah, I wanted to talk about this whole TD Jakes thing. Um, I don't really even care about his personal life and the business and whatever. I get that there's a lot of emotions and opinions floating around right now, but what I really wanted to talk about is how did you see him before this happened? And why I'm saying that is because I feel like we idolize people way too much as a society. We put them on these huge pedestals and we think that, oh, they are godlike because they talk to God. They are humans. They are imperfect beings just like everybody else. So if this news has shaken you to your core, if this news has shaken your faith in God, if this news is something that is to the point where you can't even hardly process it, then I need you to reevaluate why you feel like that. Do you feel like that because you feel as though if he can't be perfect and if he can't be a shining light, then what does that mean for me? And that's not to dismiss his role and in how do I say this? That's not to dismiss his role in being someone who connects people to God, right? I'm not dismissing that. I'm not dismissing the weight of the situation. But I don't want to focus on that because I'm sure you can find a whole bunch of videos trashing him or a whole bunch of videos talking about this is the problem with Christianity. I'm not trying to come for that. I'm saying reevaluate yourself and where you hold these people in your heart so that when things happen like this, because I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. These people are going to keep speaking their truth. And sometimes the truth that you have held in your head for so long, which was based off of what you could see, is going to be challenged. And it's up to you to be able to keep going in your faith in God. Because your faith should not be in any man, any woman. It should be in God. It should be in the one who gave you life, the one who thought of your existence and made it so. That is where my faith lies. It doesn't lie in a man. It doesn't lie in a woman. It doesn't lie in a church. It doesn't lie in a synagogue, a mosque. It doesn't lie anywhere like that. It lies within my creator, right? And I want you to be able to really reflect on that because I don't want you to feel as though now that that's happened, your faith is shaken. It should still be solid because that man, that woman, whoever is not a reflection of God in their entirety, right? It's not a reflection of God in their entirety. That's a reflection of God being able to speak and use people, even if that individual is flawed. And I'm going to take it to my own personal experience. I became a leader within the religious aspect at 13. At 13. There were so many struggles that I went through that I did it in a private note because I didn't want people to know what I was going through. I didn't want people to know that I was having a problem with sexual immorality. I didn't want people to know that I had an addiction to porn. I didn't want people to know these things because I felt as though I'm a leader. I have to portray myself as perfect. So because of that, I did a lot of things in private behind closed doors that wouldn't match the persona of who I was putting out at that time. And it wasn't that I was faking it, because whatever I did for God, I did it and I really meant that. I put my whole heart in it. And if you were someone who happened to see me dancing for God, singing for God, doing anything for God, you felt my heart in it. But that doesn't mean that behind closed doors I wasn't going through it. So I encourage y'all to not get distracted by the craziness or by the revelations that's coming out because really that's none of our business anyway. Even if the worst of the worst is something that person is doing behind closed doors, that's not really my business. My business is simply if you are useful as me connecting to God, then I can connect to God through you. Cool. And if not, then that's something else. And I can say this objectively because I don't actually listen to TD Jakes. I don't actually follow his messages. So I'm not speaking from a person who's like scorned or hurt or feeling so discombobulated by it. I'm speaking as a person who's been through the experiences of leadership way too fast. My leadership came to me way too quickly. But I was in leadership and I did not feel as though I had a safe zone to express myself and to be vulnerable. So it led to this like double life, which what it wasn't really a double life. It was just like whenever I slipped up, I would be so critical on myself because I felt like I was doing such a disservice to God, to God's people, to anybody who I led. When the reality is, I should have been given grace. I should have been given love. Like God gives us grace and like God gives us love. Which I hope that if you are someone who's working on your relationship with God, don't get distracted and don't get shaken up by the things that happen with different people because those people are people. They're flawed. However, God is not. God is not flawed. God is an amazing and beautiful being. And when you have that one-on-one connection with God, it doesn't matter what's going on. You're still going to be solid with God. And that's the important part. I love you. I want you to have a blessed day. Remember, it's up to you. No one else.